average Twitter guy. What's wrong, man?
It's my stance. He's not supposed to make a team any better. It's my stance. They're wrong.
What do you mean your stats, and who are you talking about?
My defensive analytics. They're my stance. They're wrong.
Are you talking about Patrick Kane?
He's supposed to be bad. He's supposed to make the team worse.
Are you seriously telling me that your stats are saying that Kane is a defensive liability for the New York Rangers and is going to make the Rangers a worse team? Patrick Kane? Are we talking about the same Patrick Kane here?
Yes, Patrick Kane. He can play defense based on my stats.
Hold on, let me see that. Bro, this is an HDMI splitter. What stats are you talking about?
Hawks win!
This time I actually stayed awake through the entire thing.
Yes! That's hockey, baby!
And it does quite annoy me that he got a goal in this game. And Jonathan Toews does Jonathan Toews things.
Yes!
He gets it to Toews and Toews scores the Hawks' first goal. And Salog just does. This genuinely felt like old school Blackhawks hockey.
Woo! Man, I don't know how Steve Dangle does that.
Defensive liability. He's gonna make your team worse, you know. He's worse than Jimmy Vesey in your top 6. He's terrible. He's just terrible. Oh man, you just gotta love people who are jealous of Patrick Kane and his 3 Stanley Cup rings. Kane wins 5-1 over the New Jersey Devils, and he had a hell of a game, and I'd like to get into it. So to start, how I ended up watching this game, because I did actually get to watch this one. I had checked to see if I would be able to watch the game on ESPN Plus, which I had found out that night of the game that apparently ESPN Plus does not carry the playoffs, or at least any of the playoff games that I wanted to watch, and it kept asking me for a service provider. But what I ended up doing is my mother found this app that I guess combines a bunch of different news channels or like streaming services into one called Sling, and I pay $50, I guess, a month for it to just watch the playoffs, but they have like every channel that most games are on, and thankfully it covers the New York Rangers games, so I can watch the New York Rangers play in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But that's how I ended up watching this, and I missed a good portion of the first period, I think, and I think I missed the New Jersey goal, so, I mean, I don't really care to even talk about that. I think it was just Eric Halla, so who even gives a care? But I did actually see every single New York Rangers goal, and even if I hadn't, I could still go back and watch the replay on YouTube. From what I understood, because I didn't actually watch the beginning of this game, it didn't seem like the Rangers actually deserved to be losing this game. And even though they were down 1-0, I think the shots were 8-5 when I first started watching, and that was within the last 7 to 5 minutes of the first period. So it still seemed, even though that the Rangers were down 1-0, they still had control of this game. And I think part of that is because Howell scored his goal on the power play from what I remember. So just like the first game, the New York Rangers controlled this game for pretty much the entire time. And I should honestly just say it was Patrick Kane and Adam Fox who controlled the game, because really they did everything. So let's talk about the first goal, the Vladimir Tarasenko goal. So on this play, as Vladimir Tarasenko is entering the offensive zone, somehow, some way he ends up losing his stick. I can't remember exactly how. And so Vladimir Tarasenko, after losing his stick, recovers it, then skates back around behind the net, kind of losing the defensive coverage of the New Jersey Devils, and then drops back down to the point where Adam Fox is with the puck. Adam Fox feeds Vladimir Tarasenko the puck, Tarasenko back to Fox, they cross over, Fox drops it back to Tarasenko, and Tarasenko shoots it on net, bounces off a New Jersey Devils forward, and it goes straight into the back of the net, and the New York Rangers tied the game 1-1. And if memory serves correct, that's how the first period ended. The long and short of it is, in the second period, the New Jersey Devils decided that they were going to play out of their comfort zone, and they were going to try and play like a playoff team. But they don't know how to do that. And so what they ended up doing instead was just taking a bunch of dumb penalties, especially Eric Halla, and they kept putting the New York Rangers and Patrick Kane on the power play. Now, I bet you think that's a frickin' good idea. And on one of these Ranger power plays, Patrick Kane has the puck at the right side boards, Adam Fox is quarterbacking the power play at the point, and Artemi Panarin is on the far left side of the ice. Patrick Kane decides that he's going to do a crossover and take over the quarterbacking spot from Adam Fox, and at the same time, Panarin comes across the blue line, picks up the puck on a drop pass from Patrick Kane, and sends a shot to the lower left side of the goal, and it bounces off the goaltender's pad, goes straight to Adam Fox. Fox feeds it back to Patrick Kane, and Patrick Kane holds on to it for a moment, stick handles a little bit, and sends a shot at goal, and guess who scores? Unfortunately, not Patrick Kane, but Chris Kreider scored his third goal of the playoffs, and his third goal of the playoffs that was scored by a tip. I think he has 38 playoff goals right now after this game, which is the most in Rangers history, which is ridiculous. And I think he's played 102 games now. Like, this New York Rangers team has been really good for a long time, even despite the fact that they had a mini rebuild for like a couple of years. So when this happened and Patrick Kane sent that shot on goal, I thought he scored, and I screamed. I was so happy. And everybody else in the house, some people were even across the street, heard me through my window, and they thought that I was my aunt screaming for her husband because maybe there was an intruder in the house. So my cousin came running into the house, both my cousins actually, and we're trying to figure out what was wrong with their mom, but thankfully they were fine. I guess I sound like a girl when I scream yes very loudly at the top of my lungs. And you know what? If my dad sees this video, he probably knows a lot about that. He's asked me if my Aunt Shannon was at the house when I was screaming before. Shannon, I think you should take offense to that. And then we move on to the next Rangers goal. And this one was again on the power play because Eric Halla and company decided that they were just going to be a bunch of assholes this game. And although they're not really shooting the puck on this power play, I mean, they are sometimes, but they've got control in the offensive zone most of the time. And they're doing really, really good at making the New Jersey penalty killers open lanes up for passing lanes. And Kane was doing his very best to try and get a pass over to Artemi Panarin, but it never ended up happening. And what happened instead is Kane, from the right side hash marks, skates kind of towards the blue line, and then he pivots and sends a slap pass, like shot pass, to Chris Kreider, who scores one of the weirdest but also best tap-in goals I've ever seen. He was sitting right next to the goalie. He didn't even need to screen him, and he still put the puck in the back of the net. It squeaked right through his arm, popped up, and hit the top corner of the net. It was insane, and I jumped up out of my bed because I was laying down while watching this, and I lost my mind because Kane now had 2 points on the first 3 Rangers goals, and I believe that gave him his 3rd point in these 2 games, and then everybody in the world is saying that he's washed up and is a terrible player right now. Like, are you kidding me? He is so proven in the playoffs, and I'm so excited to get to watch him again. So now, obviously, Chris Kreider has 2 goals, 4 goals so far in these 2 playoff games, and, you know, you would think that the Rangers would be looking to get him a hat trick, and I do genuinely think that they were, but they were up 3-1 at this point, and I don't think they really needed to worry about getting Chris Kreider a hat trick. I mean, if it happened, it happened. It's not a big deal. But this made me so happy. I screamed so loud when this happened. A New Jersey Devils defenseman is fumbling the puck and is trying to recover it to try and get the New Jersey Devils back into the offensive zone. But lo and behold, Patrick Kane, the defensive liability, is hounding the hell out of this New Jersey Devils defenseman, forces him to turn it over. Then, when it goes over to the next New Jersey Devils defenseman, Patrick Kane hounds the hell out of him, forces another turnover. Kreider's flying up the side of the ice, the right side. Patrick Kane picks up the puck on the left side boards, skates toward Vitek Vanacek, and as this is happening, a defenseman is catching up on Chris Kreider. Patrick Kane looks off the man who is looking for a hat-trick goal, goes forehand, backhand, and roofs it in tight on Vitek Vanacek and scored his first goal of the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs, 4-1 New York Rangers. And I'm telling you, when he scored this goal, I lost my mind. It felt like I was watching old Blackhawks hockey again. It felt like my hero had come back to life because he hasn't been there legitimately since 2017. And the smile on Kane's face really just did it for me. I mean, I was on the verge of tears because I love Kane so much, and it just means so much to me to get to see him in these playoffs again. I think he and the New York Rangers are going to go so far in these playoffs, and hopefully he can get a 4th ring. But you can just tell, based on the looks Patrick Kane was giving his teammates and the looks he was giving the camera, he was feeling himself. And hopefully that continues into tonight, because I am going to be watching the Rangers game again tonight. Hopefully they take a 3-0 series lead, and they should be in New York in Madison Square Garden, so I don't really think New Jersey has much of a chance here. But my favorite part about this game at the very end was getting to see all the people being like, oh, yeah, Patrick Kane is a defensive liability, right? Yeah, it's incredulous. There's stats out there, some of them are extremely advanced, it's why it's called advanced analytics, and they can be good, as long as you're looking at the right ones. But when you completely ignore the fact that Patrick Kane is an offensive dynamo and just look at his defensive stats, and I mean, obviously you're going to tell that they aren't great. Kane can play a good defensive game. It's just he doesn't do it. He has done it before. I've seen it before. He has played center before, and he's looked really, really good. If he wanted to be, and it suited his game, he'd play center, I think. But as a winger, he's just too good on that half wall. You can't take him off of there. And he can drive into the middle of the ice and do fantastic things. Although, as he's gotten older and his speed isn't getting there anymore, it's not as much of an option for him, but he's still just insane on the half boards. And when you are as good as Kane and you have other skilled players to play with, if you are playing in the offensive zone, shift in and shift out, there's no reason that Kane himself has to be all that great defensively, because all he has to do is wait for his good defensive teammates to get the puck and get it to him. And it works. And that's why the Rangers are up 5-1 in this series. I can't believe I just said they're leading 5-1 in the series. They're leading 2-0 in the series. They've won both games, and hopefully they win Game 3 tonight. But they've won both of their games 5-1 so far. So I'm just mentally and verbally dyslexic. But yeah, I really hope you liked the video. And if you did, hit that like button. And if you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. And you'll be able to see more videos like this. And I will be making another video to the reaction of Game 3, either tonight, which I doubt it, or the night after. Preferably before Game 4. It's just I have a really weird schedule at work right now because of dumb stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.